everyone, I'm the Rev, and this week we were back in the GTEs on Le Mans Ultimate. One of the daily races was a fantastic combo, and a forgotten combo if I'm honest, because I haven't driven the GTEs in a while. But I have to say, around this circuit, I much preferred them to the GT3. So for this split one race, we're in the Porsche GTE in the Rexy livery, and we've managed to get through turn 1 without incident. Approaching turn 2, up behind the Ferrari, had a little bit of a think about going up the inside, but it would have been dangerous and stupid. Give the Rexy Porsche on the right hand side of the room as well as we go through the left hander, get on the power nice and early. And now it's a drag race up to the hairpin, which is a hairpin if you speak the Queen's English, which I don't. But Schleger's tucked up in the slipstream, he moves out to the left hand side. I'm just going to cover off the inside, and hopefully once this bit of danger's dealt with, we can settle down into this race. And he's still there on the outside, but we give him the room and just manage to pull away on the power. And that's us up to 6th place. Now this week had been my set of 12-hour night shifts at work, and at 43 they do take their toll on me, to be honest, so what you're looking at there is one tired bloke. Schleger there just sticking his nose up the inside. I did think he was going to go for that move, so I went in a touch deep myself, trying to give him the room. The last thing I want in these races is any kind of contact. I want to keep it nice and clean, managed to get me platinum safety rating, and I'd very much like to keep it there. Driver rating, couldn't give a monkey's about. That's just something that's going to go up and down. It is what it is. But anyway, back to the title of the video, LMU Fanboy. Very quickly, I'd just like to go through what's happened on the channel this week, and then I promise you we'll get into the action of this race. So, Automobilista 2, they released some DLC this week. I made a video, and I didn't like every single car that was in the DLC. Oh my god, did that upset the internet. And in short, because I compared Automobilista 2 to Le Mans Ultimate, I got called an LMU fanboy by more than one person, as well as other names as well, to be fair. But we'll gloss over those morons. So I thought I'd like to set the record straight somewhat. I am no fanboy of anything whatsoever in this world. Being a fanboy benefits no one. Healthy competition is what drives companies and products forward, so I love competition. I'm old enough to remember a million pointless arguments. Which is better, the SNES or the Mega Drive? The Saturn, the PlayStation? Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2? You'd have to have played Mortal Kombat 2 to get that joke. My point is that everything has its strengths and everything has its weaknesses. Le Mans Ultimate is not perfect. I love it, I love playing it online, but it's not perfect. If you look back through my video history, I've made countless Automobilista 2 videos. Why? Because I love playing that game too, but that game's not perfect either. The perfect racing simulator doesn't exist, but then to jump onto YouTube creators' backs because they say something you don't agree with about your favourite and start calling them names, it's a bit out of order. And when I look back now through the channel, that's happened 3 times, and each time it's been on an Automobilista 2 video, so it just means that I won't make Automobilista 2 content anymore. I won't stop playing the game. The game's great, I love it. In terms of single player, I don't think it can be beaten, but if that's the reaction you get when you disagree with some people's opinion, then it's really not worth it. I'll just hold that there for a second now, because Schleger's getting a bit closer now, but he's managed to go wide, he's lost the rear of the Porsche, it's gone, it's gone. It's easily done, and that's let Gomez through. But back to me point, I'm a human being, I have feelings, and I find it really deflating to get up, read loads of comments saying that I'm an LMU fanboy, I'm a shill, you're calling me out on my bullshit. Mate, I've said the GT3 cars in AMS2 float around a bit, I haven't called you mum. If you don't think they float around, then I'm genuinely made up for you. That's great. If you don't feel that, awesome, you can enjoy them. I can't, because I feel like they do float around and pivot on the centre. In the grand old scheme of things, it's really not a big deal. So in the future, if I get comments like that, I'm just going to hide those users from the channel. Overall, I'm very, very lucky. My community is fantastic. The Discord is unbelievable. It's said daily. You can be brand new to sim racing, you can be an alien, or you can be somewhere in between, and you're welcome in the Discord, and everybody is helping each other out, wants to know when the next community races are, and it's just a really good, positive place to be, with people playing all sorts of different sims. So I think those of you that can't accept it when somebody says something that you don't agree with, I'm not going to be the channel for you, because I'm always going to speak my mind. And the reason I'll do that is because I'm happy to listen to your opinion as well, and if it differs from mine, then never mind, we'll agree to disagree. Affect my life, it will not. Nor will my opinion affect yours. Now I'd say that's well enough of that garbage, and thank God for that. Let's get back into this race, because we're 3 laps in, I'm doing a 2:01.5, which at the time I thought was a decent lap, and I'm starting to close the gap on Cazorla in front in the Ferrari. But Gomez behind, he's got some decent pace as well. Now we're doing a green sector here, and like I said, the best lap at this moment in time for me was a 2 minutes and 1.525. Now when I first started this race this week, it was a 2 minutes and 2.1, that was the best I'd done. So we'd taken 6/10 off, and we were certainly getting more familiar with the track and more confident with this car and the lack of anti-lock brakes. But the fast lads in this lobby, position 1, 2, 3, they were in the 2 minutes. They were doing 2 minutes and 8/10, 2 minutes and 7/10, things like that. But a lap that was 2 minutes dead, that looked like it was beyond me if we're honest. I certainly had the feeling that my pace was improving, but I also felt as though I was kind of bouncing off the ceiling of my ability. But at almost 4/10 up, this could have been a half decent lap time as we head now into the final corner, which is my nemesis at Sebring. We are up to 4/10, we're early on the power, that's 6/10 up now, which would put me in the 2 minutes. That is just not a lap time that I would ever have been able to imagine was possible from me, but it's there, 2 minutes, 9.67. If I could keep this pace up, I would be on the back of Cazorla in no time. And even now, as we head through turn 1, it's a green sector again, we were still up. It might only be by a natch chuff, but it still matters. I think this was my 4th attempt at this race this week, and I have to say that the drivers in these lobbies were absolutely brilliant. They were pushing me on so much, and I was learning so much from the driver ahead, and the pace that they had both behind and ahead, it was just pushing me forward. So I was really grateful for these other drivers. And a special mention has to go to the GTE Porsche, which is absolutely fantastic. Once I'd got the correct brake pressure, my confidence on the brake pedal just grew, and look at that, a purple sector. Purple sector for me, 1.2 seconds up in split 1. Never been known, absolutely impossible at the beginning of the week. But this was just one of those combos where I was starting to feel really confident with it, and it felt so good. There's just something about this car which gives you confidence through the corner and on corner entry. You really feel like you can push the tyre. That's something that I used to feel in the GT3s, but I don't really feel that anymore. But I'm more than happy to admit that that could be a skill issue on my part. But this GTE, I could really push it. And as I say, I was kind of butting up against the ceiling of my skill level. But even that's a great feeling, because you know that you're on your limit, your out and out limit. But not only that, as you can see here, I'm still a little bit up on this lap, so a little bit up on that 2 minute .967, so I was just getting a bit of consistency as well. I've certainly got Cazorla worried there, because he's just having a think about breaking the slipstream, so he's certainly looking in his mirrors, and I've certainly started to give him something to think about. Heading into the final turn, feels really good on the brakes. Second gear, drop it in, get on the power, rotate the car into third and get some decent traction out. We lost that little bit of time that we were up, but it doesn't matter because it's another decent lap for us, 2 minute .980. Just at half race distance, there was a 5th place on here, Reverend. There was a 5th place on. Into turn 1 now, I've just got the nose of the Porsche tighter than the Ferrari. He's had to take a little bit of gravel down into the left-hander. Bit of a squirm from the back of the Ferrari, he's up, he's on the curb, he's on the gravel. We're certainly giving him plenty to think about here, the pressure is on. Cazorla might just have reached that point there where you're looking in your mirrors as much as you're looking forward, and that's a bad thing. I get sucked into that trap all the time, miss me apexes, miss me corner entries because I'm looking in the mirrors. Bit of a puff of smoke from the Ferraris, he just locks that front right. I've tried to go in wide and cut it back to try and avoid touching the curbs as much as possible because they set off the traction control, which results in a loss of forward momentum. That wasn't too bad, Rev, but it could have been better. The gap is down to 0.3 and I really feel like Cazorla's feeling a bit of pressure. The Ferrari in this race was also really strong, but this Porsche, it was no slouch. Now that first sector, we've lost 4/10 this lap compared to the last two, so we need to get it back where it was before, as the Ferrari's all over the curbs, kicking up the sparks. At the halfway point in the video, I would ask, if you like what I do on this channel and you find it entertaining in the slightest, then please do hit that like button, and if you fancy it, hit the subscription button as well. It'd really help me out, especially this week because I lost a load of subscribers from the Automobilista 2 content. but in all seriousness, it would help me out, and it just means that I might get recommended to somebody just like you. Cazorla there, still weaving on the straight, he's still worried about that slipstream, but we're not close enough yet to get a slip. Headed into the final turn, once again tighter, able to go tighter than the Ferrari on the entrance, but through the middle of the corner he gets some good traction, good pace out of it, and that lap he managed to pull out 2 tenths on us and we were back in the 2-minute and 1s. That was never going to be good enough and I needed to sort that out and sort it out fast. So at the start of lap 6, could we get a good sector 1 again? Decent run out of turn 1. Front of the Porsche hooked up really well, puff of smoke from the Porsche ahead. He's a little bit untidy this time, Cazorla, only a little bit though, nothing like the lap previous. And he gets on the power early. Just gets a little bit of gravel, but once again, no slouch in a straight line, that Ferrari, so we're going to have to stay where we are for now. Nowhere near close enough for a lunge into this hairpin. Right now, my eyes were fixed on the track, looking for that 400 line, another puff of smoke from Cazorla's Ferrari, tucking it tight, getting on the power, and trying to do our very best to put this lad under pressure, but he's driving fantastically well. My eyes were firmly fixed on the back of Cazorla's car, but I'd only just realised that the leaders, they weren't too far ahead, so we'd actually had a decent amount of pace in this split 1 lobby, which was really surprising. But I really could not have enjoyed this combo more this week. I'd say that it was in my top 3 combos on Le Mans Ultimate without a shadow of a doubt. Super close there to the back of Cazorla's Ferrari, but we managed not to make any contact. It's been said in a couple of my other videos that sometimes I don't get my elbows out enough. Another puff of smoke from the Ferrari, a touch wide. This is going to be tight now as we come onto the straight. I know that I'm not going to get anything done in the right-hander, but if I can get a good run, then I'm going to be in the slipstream for the first time. 0.1 second the gap, the closest I'd been. Keep it tucked up under the rear wing of that Ferrari as we head into the final corner. This is where it was going to take some confidence. Onto the brakes, he's gone wide, I just ease off the brake down to second gear, tuck it up the inside, park it on the apex and get on the throttle. Fabulous little move, if I do say so myself. Sometimes you've got to blow your own horn. At 43 my horn doesn't get blown that often. But Cazorla's not finished here. He's up the inside, I'm giving him the space, don't want any contact. He tucks it nice and tight, gets on the power and he's back. And I even celebrated that move for him. Absolutely fantastic move. He covers the inside into the left-hander, exactly what I'd have done, no complaints there whatsoever. But this little battle now that's started to build between me and Cazorla has done exactly what you would expect. Gomez from behind, he started to close that gap and this is going to come the 3-way. Look at his little face. It's fair to say I was absolutely loving this. But all that fighting, it's cost me nearly a second just in sector 1. No wonder Gomez is right on the back of us. Lap 7, 3 laps to go. This was going to be tight. 5th place was up for grabs. Only now, it wasn't just between me and Cazorla. He goes defensive again. But these slow corners, this is where the Porsche felt really good. Too good there because I end up clattering the back of him. Cazorla parked it on the apex and I ran into the back of him. Completely my fault and a complete misjudgment on the brakes from me. More puffs of smoke though from the Ferrari. And every time I saw that puff of smoke, I knew that Cazorla was ruining those soft tyres. And I knew that because I'd ruined about 50 sets myself in the other 3 races. So it was really important to stick close, be consistent and force those errors out of Cazorla. He's a little bit deep once again. I can tuck this Porsche tighter than he can tuck the Ferrari and we're going to be close once again as we come onto the straight. Back into the slipstream. Now Cazorla, he's not going to fall for the same thing this time. So I have to be honest and say I was expecting him to try and cut it tight and park it onto the apex. I still came out though just in case to see if I could get the undercut, but I can't. Little tiny bit of a rub there, nothing major, but that's a great bit of defensive driving from Cazorla. 0.2 the gap ahead, 0.2 the gap behind. This 5th place was anybody's. But to be fair, finishing 5th, 6th or 7th I'd have been happy with. And time was just starting to tick away, 2 laps to go. Cazorla's going to position his car defensively on the left hand side. I'm going to call for the cutback. Not close enough this time, take a bit of curb, position the car for the cutback once more, but I've left the door wide open. Classic mistake. Gomez, fantastic move, mate. Really, really good. Really impressive. Like a rat up a drain pipe, no stopping him there. Considering 2 laps ago, myself and Cazorla, we were dropping Gomez in terms of pace, but now he's right back in the thick of it. And what I really needed now from Gomez was for him to start causing Cazorla some problems. If you've not given this combo a try this week, do give it a try. I'm sure that you won't regret it. If you find that you're struggling with the GTE in terms of locking up, then just have a little play with the brake pressure in the setup menu, and hopefully you might be able to find it a bit more manageable, which will help with your enjoyment. Gomez is indeed all over the back of Cazorla. He's weaving left and right. Cazorla's locking up. That right front of Cazorla's must be absolutely ruined by now, but he's still holding on to it, so that's all that matters. But that Porsche Gomez, he's tucked right up. He's certainly not letting Cazorla settle. He's giving him something to think about. I nearly go into the back of Gomez. Luckily I get it saved, down to second gear, but Gomez has got a great run and he's threw it up the inside, thrown it up the inside of Cazorla. He's making some massive moves here. That's 2 places this lap. Fantastic drive from Gomez. Mate, I tip my hat to you. The Ferrari, he's got the slipstream from the car in front. I'm going to see if I can get a bit of a slipstream from Gomez. Tighter than the Ferrari up the inside. He tries to turn in, bit of contact but nothing major, and we're on the power up behind Gomez. Back to 6th place, but once again that 5th place is just out of reach. But now that move was done, it was time to settle, reset. We're down in the 2-minute and 3, so we've lost nearly 3 seconds a lap here. So if we could regain our pace, we might be able to do something about Gomez. We had the pace on him at the beginning of this race, so hopefully we could have the pace at the end, but he was certainly growing into this race. Regardless of where we finished, this race had been absolutely fantastic. It had been clean for the most part, and you just had 3 drivers that were respecting each other on track. I often read lots of comments about the driving standards on Le Mans Ultimate, and this essentially is still a rookie race. It might be split 1, but it's still a rookie race. But it just goes to show that with the right crowd, you can have some fantastic racing. I think that if you're willing to leave your ego at the door, and when a position is lost, you're willing to give up that position because it's lost, you will find that you have a much better experience online. If I finished 5th, 6th or 7th in this race, that wouldn't be what I took away from it. I took away a fantastic experience and a great race. As we head into the middle of lap 9 now, I've just been weighing up Gomez, looking at his lines, looking where he's braking, and to be fair to the lad, he seems to have the pace. I might be 3-4 tenths down on this lap, so I'm hardly covering myself in glory compared to the pace I once had. But all you can do is race with the pace that you've got. Coming into the last quarter of lap 9, decent run out of the right-hander, but I'm not quite close enough. He's moving around a little bit, trying to break the toe, but unfortunately the Porsches are too evenly matched and I don't really make up much time. So all I can do is keep the pressure on into the final turn. He's decent on the brakes, he's going to be able to tuck it back that bit tighter than me. Into 3rd gear for the traction. But that was not the last corner I needed as we head into the last lap. Lap 10 of 10. We're back in the 2-minute and 1.5s, but that's about 6 tenths slower than we can go. Tuck it tight into turn 1. Are we going to be able to do anything whatsoever about Gomez? This is where consistency was going to be the key. Had a little bit of a look up the inside, never going to be close enough there though, Rev. But we're not going to do anything stupid. We're going to try and get on the power early, but Gomez fires that Porsche right out of that corner. And we're just not making any ground on him whatsoever. If anything, he's pulled away a little bit. How's he going to be on the brakes into the hairpin? Neat and tidy, no puffs of smoke. This lad's driving really well. I'd lost about a quarter of my soft tyres performance, but they were still holding up and you could still push. These soft tyres were great in terms of confidence, really confidence inspiring, and for me that's where the enjoyment comes, being able to push on these cars and lean on that grip. And we're certainly going to lean on it now through the left-hander. This was another tricky corner, people seem to go out wide, much wider than I did, but we managed to tuck it back, get on the power, watch the curb. but it's so neat and so tidy from Gomez. This lad is not making any mistakes at all, and the pressure that I'm putting on him, he's absolutely soaking it up. And as you can see there, a personal best sector 2 in the race for me, so I certainly was trying. I was trying my best to put him under pressure. This was going to be so important now. But the nose of the Porsche washes wide. I'm on the gravel. Little smile from me. And a wipe of the brow because I felt I'd got away with that one. That one could have ended in tears. And I think at this point, all that was left to do was for me to thank Cazorla and thank Gomez for an absolutely fantastic race. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope the rant at the beginning of the video wasn't too much, and I hope you've enjoyed this race. I'm going to take a week off content creation. As always, I've been the Reverend. Thank you very much for watching.